It's DSP's Top 5 Worst Gaming Trends of 2011. Number 2. Game Development Fallout, Studios in Peril. Although 2011 was undoubtedly a great year for the gaming industry, it also had its share of pitfalls. Notably, 3 of some of the most successful game development studios had personal problems that ended up basically going completely live over the internet and becoming public knowledge. Starting first with Activision and the leftover fallout of their falling out with the Infinity Ward team. Now, Infinity Ward was the team that had developed the Call of Duty series, but more importantly, the Modern Warfare versions of the Call of Duty series, which became the best-selling games, respectively, every year that they had been released. Well, due to a falling out and due to, I guess, some kind of contractual dispute, possibly some money dispute, most of Infinity Ward ended up leaving Activision to go off and form their own studio. So Activision had to basically reform a team under the guise of Infinity Ward to work on Modern Warfare 3. Now, Activision luckily got their act together, and Modern Warfare 3 was released on time this year to similar critical acclaim as Modern Warfare 2, and also huge sales numbers. So in this case, even though there was a public outing of discontent between the original Infinity Ward team and its parent company Activision, they were able to settle the issues in time, and everything worked out well. However, one story that didn't have such a happy ending is the relationship between former Team Bondi and its parent company Rockstar Games. Now, Team Bondi is a development team that was based out of Sydney, Australia, who did the majority of the development work on this year's popular title, LA Noire. This old-school detective-style investigation game actually featured some revolutionary new technologies in the form of facial capture and motion capture technology for the characters in the game. Well, shortly after the release of the game, it was actually announced by Rockstar that they were going to release all of Team Bondi, basically firing the whole studio, which kind of led to a lot of confusion in the gaming media what was going on. Well, about a month later, the story came out that the former members of Team Bondi were filing a lawsuit against Rockstar Games, citing that Rockstar had forced them to work long hours, unfair hours, basically having to live up to very short deadlines, and basically just being overworked in order to have LA Noire ready for the date of release that Rockstar had set for the game. So that's a pretty messed up story of finding out that Rockstar, who is really, a very popular gaming development studio, well reputed, every time they come out with a game, it usually comes out to critical acclaim. Now they're being accused of actually overworking their employees and having unfair work conditions, and then they end up firing everyone in that studio. Kind of ridiculous. But even with all that being said, the game development studio that had the absolute worst year in 2011 was Capcom. Controversy, the loss of major development names, discontent, and backlash from the fans. I mean, where do we start? I guess we should start with the loss of major game developer and mind behind the Mega Man series, Keiji Inafune, who had actually been in charge of the Mega Man series pretty much from the get-go. And just due to an actual dispute within management at Capcom, where Inafune actually wanted to form his own independent studio on the side, but still remain part of senior management of Capcom, they told him no, and he decided that he would rather leave and go do his own thing. And it was kind of crazy because as soon as he left, it was announced that Mega Man Universe, which was a game already in development and which had already had a beta version available at New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, E3, that the game was canceled out of the thin air, out of the blue, and fans were like, wow, that's pretty crazy. In addition, there was another project called Mega Man Legends 3 that had also already been in development by Capcom, and this one was a little bit on the unique side, because you see, through CapcomUnity.com, which is actually Capcom's fan interaction website, Capcom had been working along with fans to develop this game. They actually had a community dialogue going on what kind of things would you like to see in this game, what kind of gameplay would you like, and there was a promise that if the fans, had basically interacted enough with Capcom, that this game was going to include a lot of these things. Well, the fans did actually speak up and become interactive. In fact, one fan became such a huge fan of the idea of a game being made along with a game developer that he created a huge blogging website of all the ideas of all of the people who were on the internet who were contributing to this game, and it was really going to be a big, massive project and probably would have been a retail success. However, as soon as Inafune left Capcom at E3 of 2011 decided to announce, guess what? We're canceling that Mega Man game too. In fact, we're putting Mega Man on the shelf. We don't know when we're going to bring him back for any games. And then, as if to give the extra kick in the ass to all of the fans who had already contributed and tried to get this game made, Capcom actually put something up on their Twitter account to the effect that, oh, it's a shame that the fans didn't interact enough with us and give us enough ideas so that we could put together, a solid game in Mega Man Legends 3, and because of that, we're canceling it. I mean, wow. You have an entire website dedicated to have positive fan interaction. You tell the fans, if you work with us, we'll make a game, and then you blame the fans for canceling it when it was pretty obvious that Capcom just didn't want to do anything with the Mega Man character due to the loss of Inafune. What a massive kick in the ass to the fans, and what a bad way to have customer relations. Well, even Capcom's fighting game division became under fire. Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which was released in February of 2011 to massive critical acclaim, ended up getting a semi-sequel announced for only 7 months after the initial release of the first game, called Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Why all the hoopla? Because it was going to be another game required for a $40 retail purchase rather than something that would be something offered free over the internet or possibly at a discounted DLC rate if you would purchase the original game. So, understandably, gamers went into an uproar. We already paid $60, now you're telling me we need to pay an additional $40 just to get the full version of the game with gameplay tweaks and features that probably should have been included with the original game anyway, such as online matchmaking lobbies where you can actually spectate the matches. In addition to this, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition was released in 2011 with only 4 additional characters being added and gameplay tweaks that most gamers actually disliked, saying it made the game more unbalanced. Well, then it was announced that there was going to be another set of gameplay tweaks with a patch that was going to be released in December. Well, the patch came, and come to find out, the competitive gaming community is actually in an uproar because it seems that this patch has actually taken some characters that were already some of the best in the game, such as Sea Viper, and made them even more overpowered. In addition to that, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has been found to have some crazy game-breaking bugs, such as being able to tech throws during anything in the game. So Capcom has already announced there's going to be another patch to change the gameplay of that game, and competitive gamers are left folding their arms saying, how are we supposed to get good at these games when Capcom is changing them multiple times within the same year? So Capcom under fire by both the fans and the competitive community for releasing far too many versions of their most popular fighting games within a year and trying to possibly get a cheap cash in and get another $40 out of their consumers by releasing this semi-sequel to Marvel vs. Capcom 3 only 7 months later. Alright, well, even with all these gaming studios acting like complete tools, this still wasn't the biggest gaming trend that threatened the gaming community in 2011. When we come back, we're going to discuss a very major ongoing issue that everyone needs to be made aware of that could threaten gaming forever. Stay tuned.